Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, coming to you on a holiday Monday. We got a long weekend here in North America. We've got Family Day here in Canada, where Jason and I are. President's Day down south for our American neighbors. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a really good Monday. Kind of nice to have a long weekend. We've been working way too hard recently, and very nice to get an extra day off.
Yeah, always appreciated to get an extra day off. Funny story. I talked to a mutual friend of ours, Miss Lori.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get a chance to talk to her. I left the message. She left me a message, and I just wanted to see how she was doing. She was just like, "Well, I'm doing great. I'm doing so great that I'm working," and that was Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, "Oh, fun," and she's just like, "Yeah, I get to." Try to manage 85 people. I didn't know that your crew was that big.
Yeah.
85.
Yeah, we got 4 different crews, 4 teams, and
Wow.
with all the set dressers, and then we got the buyers, and we got everybody. Oh man, it's big. It's a large crew.
Yeah, man, it is full on. Like I think the last time I heard of a crew being that big was for the show Shogun, which, by the way, I saw the trailer for Super Bowl. Oh my God, it looks awesome.
Yeah, it does look awesome. Yeah.
Freaking amazing, man. Wow.
Did you see Shogun's set out in Port Coquitlam there? Did you see it when it was built?
No. Are you talking about the one where it was like all the Japanese huts and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Oddly enough, through my buddy that was actually helping to put them together, and he was the foreman on that. So he showed me the huts and all the work that they put in. I was just like, my God, this is like I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, how much money did they put in?
It's so massive. That trailer looks incredible. I think it's coming out this week, right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
The trailer looks absolutely mind-blowing, and it's so shocking that a movie like that could be filmed here. It's just or a series, I mean, could be filmed here. Yeah. Incredible. And I was blown away when I went to that set. We had purchased a couple of boats from them after they had finished shooting, and we got a chance to go down there. And I think they had completely finished, and the set was still built. And I took a lot of walks through and took pictures, and it was mind blowing. It was so cool. You really felt like you were, back in the golden days in Japan. It was incredible.
Yeah, man. It was a perfect storm, because when I talked to one of the guys I worked for on the recruit, Kevin Casper, who I'm sure you know, who's an incredible fabricator, he was like, that was one of the most joyous things I've ever worked on, because not only was it the perfect storm where you could get the best of the best from every department to work on that show, where he's like, we had the most talented people working on that show. And I'm like, well, you could tell, because you could tell from the damn trailer. Yeah. You could tell from the trailer, like, it's like, oh, this is on another level.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to watch it for sure, starting this week. You mentioned Lori working this weekend. Almost our entire crew was working this weekend, and they were working all 3 days. They were working Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I was pretty stunned by that. We just started shooting this week, and they're already working like a whole long weekend. So I said to a few friends, I don't know if I'm really excited to go to work tomorrow, because everybody's going to be grumpy, burnt out.
Oh yeah.
No days off. 14-day straight for sure for most of them. And it's not going to be a pretty sight.
No, it is. It never is, especially when people when you got to push like that. And I was surprised that she was even working on the weekend when she left the message, because she also left the message at 8:30 in the morning, where I'm just like, why would she do that? Like, I'm not up yet. I'm sleeping. And then it's like, it makes more sense, because like she's working. And then she she basically said it like that too. It's like, oh, I'm sure you're sleeping.
Yeah.
I don't get
it. Yeah. Well, she's amazing because I started getting texts on Saturday morning, and all of a sudden I saw a text come back from her, and she said, "Hey, can you actually not send text to Darren the Swamper? He's not working today, so can you just take him out of the loop here and make sure that he's not getting bugged over the weekend?" And so that was nice of her to notice that I was
Yeah.
on that particular WhatsApp chain. And
Yeah.
so luckily the text stopped all day yesterday. I did get a couple this morning, which I wasn't totally happy about, but they yeah, luckily most of them stopped throughout the weekend there. But yeah, it's a crazy big show. It's necessary for 85 people, and to work like I guess 70, 80 hours a week. 60's plenty enough for me. And I was happy to be off. I did not want to work this weekend, and I just glad that I did not make that choice.
Yeah, man. Well, I have done the working of the weekends, and I've done my 14 days straight. I know what that does to you, and it's just like, yeah, I'm good to have my days off now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean, like especially when I found out it's like, oh, I don't have to work this weekend on either show that I'm kind of bouncing between. I'm like, perfect,
nice,
great.
Yeah.
I get to catch up on sleep.
Yeah. Did Laura say anything about you coming to work for us?
No.
No.
No, there was nothing about that, because when I left the message with her and I said, I'm not asking about work. I'm just asking how you're doing.
Okay.
Because I haven't heard her voice, because like we've just been texting back and forth.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like, I just want to see how you're doing. She was just like, I'm freaking working. That's how I'm doing. Thanks for caring.
Right.
All right.
Nice. That's hilarious. Yeah. Well, hopefully there's still going to be a spot for you soon, and yeah, we'll be reunited. I did enjoy my weekend. There was a lot of food to be had, which was always great. Lots of sports to be watched, and also the Just for Laughs comedy festivals here in town. I think it started on Thursday, goes all the way to next weekend, and we started looking at events and trying to take some in like we usually do. A lot of tickets were just outrageously priced, and we just kept passing and passing on them. Almost went to one on at the Queenie Theater on the weekend, and we decided no, we are going to look for something else. And I found one last night that was free. It was called the Just for Laughs Showcase. I think it had around 8 or 9 comedians on the bill, free, which was great. And yeah, we had a lot of laughs. There was one comedian that we really didn't like whatsoever, but all the rest made us laugh at some point. A couple of them were really hilarious, and it turned out great. We had a good meal before, a couple of beers, got to go to the festival, had a couple more, and really had a super fun time. And I heard that you went to see some comedy as well.
Yeah, and it was again associated with Just for Laughs. This one was not free, unfortunately. It was with Ben Schwartz and friends. Ben Schwartz being an actor for Parks and Rec, House of Lies. Yeah. Anyways, so it was all improv. They took from the audience and they said, "Okay, give us your best family day story." And being as proper Canadians, we gave them boring stories, and they're just like, "Oh, what a plethora of things to work with. Thank you so much." But they did pretty good. They did. Nice. They worked with what they were given. Now, for me personally, we had just eaten at Memphis Blues Southern Barbecue. It's absolutely delicious. We got the Memphis Beast because there was 5 of us.
Nice.
And so we ate, and I ate more than my fair share. I tried to out-eat everybody quickly. That's how you eat more. So for those that are thinking, it's like when you have to share food, eat quickly.
Eat fast.
Then all of a sudden, everybody now knows it's competitive eating. It's like, oh, he's going to eat it all before we get anything. We better take it.
No talking. No talking.
Just sort of eating. Like everybody else is talking. I'm like, yeah, you guys can talk.
No vegetables, no talking. Just get it in you. Quick.
Just get it in you. So now I'm there at we the beginning of the show is starting and stuff. So I'm kind of awake, have my beer. Now they're getting into their improv, and I'm like, I'm going down. I am going to pass out. And wouldn't you know it, I put my beer down. I'm watching, out, just out cold for 20 minutes of the beginning of the show. Out.
Great.
Yeah. I woke up. I was so out that when I woke up, I was like, where am I? And why is it so loud? Oh, right. I'm in a comedy show.
Wow. Were you
cold, man.
Were you close enough to the stage that they could see that you were sleeping? Did they notice, you think? Do you think they noticed? Do you think they saw you?
Oh, no, hell no.
No?
No. They didn't see me. I was way at the back. I think there was actually even a taller dude in front of me, so he perfectly shielded me from.
Good.
It's like, because if they saw that, it's like, what, are we not doing a good job? That guy is clearly asleep. Like he's out cold, snoring even. Gone.
Yeah, that happened.
But yeah, man, it was.
That happened to me around last.
The show was cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the show was good. Show was good though. Like they did a good.
That happened to me around Christmas time last year, and I had bought some tickets to go see the play Elf, and we sit down, and right away I'm just like, oh no, I'm in trouble. And all of a sudden I fell asleep, and I woke up, fell asleep, woke up, fell asleep, like so many times. It was outrageous. It was just so dumb. But unfortunately I was in the front row, so I'm sure the actors for sure saw me. I probably had a few snores, a few snorts as I was waking up. Oh man, it was horrible. I just hated it so bad. It was after eating, after having beers, a long day of work. You're kind of lucky you didn't have a day of work before, but you're going down, and that was it.
No, man. Yeah, that's what happens now. Like if I have big meals, it's just like, oh, it's lights out. Body's just like, you did it to yourself, man. You knew what was going to happen. You knew. We're going to Betty by now.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, it happens. It definitely happens. So, yeah, but anyway, I hope everybody's having a really good long weekend. Hope President's Day or Family Day was really wonderful to you. It's always good. And for all my co-workers, sorry you had to work. Hope you're able to take this in this evening and see what Jason and I did while you guys were slaving away. But yeah, let's get into it. The NHL was in full swing today. Game started at like 9:30 Pacific this morning, and the Canucks faced off at 11. Canucks had a tough 4-2 loss to Winnipeg on Saturday, and they faced off in Minnesota today against the Wild. They came out really guns a-blazing. They scored on their first two shots, and were up 2-0. They were up 2-1 after the first. They were up 5-2 at one point, and then they started taking so many ridiculous penalties. There was 4 different times in the game where they were 2 men down, and Minnesota started scoring these power play goals and started getting momentum. They ended up beating the Canucks 10-7 today. 10-7. It was outrageous. They scored 7 goals in the third period to beat them 10-7. 2 of their players both got hat tricks. Joel Eriksson Ek and Kirill Kaprizov both got hat tricks. JT Miller got a hat trick for the Canucks, but they needed somebody else to jump in with a hat trick to make it 10-10. But brutal game. They had their backup goalie Casey DeSmith in net, and he had a bad game. But there was not a lot of help in front of him. He had 25 shots, only saved 17 of them, let in 8. They had 2 empty netters. Minnesota did. And yeah, so the Canucks are reeling a little bit. Still first in the NHL in points, up there, but 2 really tough losses over this weekend.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. But at least the thing is that they weren't overt losses. They didn't get blown out. And usually, when you score 7 goals, you should win that game.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, I guess not so much when you let the other team score 10. So they'll bounce back. They'll bounce back. And I was going to ask you, how does the new guy look, Lindholm, for the
Well,
team?
he looks great. I loved him in that first game, 2 goals in the first game. He's adjusting quite well in a lot of the cases. I like the line that he's been on. He's with they're doing an all Swedish line most of the time, and I think it's gonna work out really well. I think he was a good addition for sure.
Oh, great. That's fantastic because it seemed like he slotted in perfectly and they got rid of the guy that Tocchet didn't really,
Yeah.
jive with that much. So
Yeah.
I thought that was a great trade on their part.
Yeah, phenomenal. Yeah, incredible. So Canucks end up as I mentioned, 10-7 loss. They play the Avs tomorrow. That is a 6 p.m. Pacific face-off. And then their final game of this road trip is against Seattle Kraken, and that's on Thursday. And then they come back and they have a 3-game homestand. Bruins, Penguins, Kings are coming up for them. And let's hope they can bounce back. A couple of really tough losses this weekend, but as I said, they're still first place in the NHL and doing really well. They are missing Dakota Joshua. He was injured in a fight. He had a Gordie Howe hat trick last game before this little trip. And do you know what a Gordie Howe hat trick is?
Okay, it's a fight, a goal, and I can't remember what the other one is.
And an assist.
And an assist.
Okay. Yeah, and fight. And his coach Rick Tocchet leads in history with the most Gordie Howe hat tricks. I think he got something around 20 in his NHL career. So the coach Tocchet leads the way. Joshua has been fantastic this year, one of their best players. Unfortunately injured in the fight, and he's off. But they showed a little feature about him in the intermission today, and he went to a barber shop to get a fade done to his hair, and he went to a guy named Junior. Do you know the barber shop that's run by a guy named Junior? Did you hear what I asked?
No. Why?
I don't know. I wondered if he was your barber.
Oh, no, because so I got a couple different barbers.
Okay.
One is a Jamaican guy that's out by Commercial, but his name is BK. And then I got another guy that I see, but he's a Middle Eastern dude, and his name is Hamza. Both are excellent barbers, by the way. They are fantastic. They're awesome. But yeah, go on with your
Oh, yeah. Well, I love that guy on Commercial. I see him all the time. He's amazing. Yeah. But I was wondering about this guy. He has quite the cool shop. It's downtown on Hornby, and he's got some jerseys up. Kyle Lowry came in, got his haircut when he was here for the training camp for the Raptors. Jamal McGlure is a buddy of his. He had Meta World Peace. He had his jersey up on the wall. He's been there for a haircut lots of times. He's the guy that cuts all the hair of all the black actors that come into town for any shoots in Hollywood North here. So he's the main guy that they utilize. And Dakota came in, signed a jersey of his, just like this one here, and gave it to him, put it on the up on the wall, and kind of cool. I wondered if you had knew him or had got your haircut from him ever before.
Now that you mention it, you know what? I think I might know who you're talking about. Okay. I think I might know who you're talking about. I haven't seen him for a long time, but I think I might know who you're talking about. And funny that you mentioned that he comes in and he cuts a lot of the black actors' hair, because so does my friend BK. He also does that.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was actually on a show where there was like two of the main actors were black, and I'm like, I remember thinking to myself in my head, I wonder who's going to cut their hair. The next day he came in,
Really?
and I'm like, that's who's going to cut their hair. Got it.
That's awesome. That's really cool. That's neat. Yeah, well, I think one of the pieces was it's Black History Month, as we mentioned off the top of last podcast, and yeah, it was great to see Dakota in there chatting away. You know how the barbershop is quite the place. Lots of great stories, a few good movies. LeBron James has a show that he does from a barbershop, and it means a lot, and it's really cool. Very good piece. So I'll try to put a link to it on the website when I post this. Really neat.
That sounds great. And also too, like the barbershop just has its own culture, especially for like Black people, African Americans. Like it just does. Like we come in there, we sit down, and we have a good chat. And the chat can range from anything: politics, religion, sexual orientation, like everything and anything. Yeah. But a lot of it is just pure comedic gold. It really is. It's very funny.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. Yeah, so as I mentioned, tons of games today. Incredible day for the NHL, sort of standalone because the NBA is on their All-Star break. So they had a ton of games today. Lots of shuffling around the standings. And as I mentioned, the Canucks are leading the way. They've got the most points in the NHL and got a very healthy lead on the Golden Knights and the Oilers. It looks like the Golden Knights and the Oilers will play a series against each other come playoff time. And then it goes down to it looks like the Kings and the Predators are battling out with the Blues for the final playoff spot. And it looks like the Canucks likely are going to play the Kings in the opening round. So it should be pretty great, that West Coast trip. Tons of fans from here go down when they play on this West Coast. So that'll be fun. The Stars, the Avs, and the Jets are all intermixed on the top of the Central Division and the other conference, or the other division in the West. And I think there's going to be shifting back and forth between a ton of those teams. The Stars are leading right now, but the Jets have 4 games in hand on them, and only and they're 5 points back, but 4 games in hand. The Jets have 4 games in hand on the Avs, and they're only 1 point back of them. So good chance they'll get 2 points out of those 4 games, and they'll be ahead of them at least pretty easy. In the East, it's looking definitely like the Bruins. The Panthers battling out at the top of the Atlantic Division. The Rangers really have a pretty sizable lead in the Metropolitan Division. The Leafs are battling it out for a playoff spot. Probably going to face the Panthers or the Bruins in that first round. Everybody in Toronto hates the Bruins, so I don't know if they want to play them or they don't. But Austin Matthews is having an absolutely amazing, dominant year. He scored his 49th today in 54 games. He's on pace for 75 or something like that. And there might not be another player to even score 50 this year. And he's likely going to get over 70. He just got a hat trick again this weekend. 2 hat tricks in a row. Scored again today. Leafs are on fire. They've won 4 in a row. And he is the driving force there.
Oh, that is amazing that he's just on such a heater and that he could possibly. When was the last time a player scored 70 goals?
Yeah, it's been many years.
Many years. I want to say it might have been like Alexander McGillney or something like that from way back.
Yeah.
Way back.
Yeah, the year McGillney got 76, Teemu Selanne also got 76, and that's going back to like mid-90s. So yeah, it could be that might be the last time. Yeah, we'll have to incredible. There was 2 outdoor games over the weekend. It was an absolutely amazing turnout for the two games. Over 150,000 fans showed up. The first game was New Jersey beating the Flyers, and they had the fourth highest attended game in the history of hockey. 79,690 fans were there at the MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And then yesterday they had the second game, and they had over 70,000 fans there for the Rangers. Ended up beating the Islanders. They were down, I believe it was like 5-1. They were down by about 3 or 4 goals, and ended up scoring late, couple goals late, tied it up, put it into overtime, won in overtime. And a lot of Rangers fans there were very, very happy. But over 150,000 fans at the two outdoor games over the weekend. Pretty incredible.
No, that's awesome. That's great for the league, and also too, it shows that fans will come out for the outdoor games.
Yeah,
they're incredibly popular, so that's good.
Yeah, they sure are. Yeah. This guy got called up. His name is Matt Rempe. He got called up, and he it's the very first NHLer to make his NHL debut in an outdoor game. He skates up to face off against his opponents. The puck gets dropped. 1 second later, he drops his gloves and starts fighting the other guy. 1 second into his first NHL shift ever, he took on Matt Martin, who's one of the toughest guys in the NHL. Everybody called him legend. First NHL shift, first NHL fight in front of 70,000 people, and he drops the gloves immediately. 5 minutes in the box, but as he comes out, the whole place just cheered heavily for the kid. It was pretty awesome.
No, that's great. That's one way to get rid of the nerves, right? It's like, I'm just going to get into a fight right away. Nerves are going to be gone. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. There's a really funny clip going around online right now. I think you might have sent it to me, actually. Bill Burr and Joe Rogan talking about fighting. Did you send that one to me? Yeah, it was hilarious. They're like, yeah, this is the only sport where they kind of allow fighting, and just drop the gloves, and it's two behemoths going against each other. If there's any codes that are broken, these are the guys that are going to make sure the code's upheld. And it was a pretty funny exchange between the two guys.
No, yeah, no, I did. And Bill Burr's he's just so good.
Yeah.
So good. He's so awesome. Actually, now that you just mentioned Bill Burr, you reminded me, like, after we were done with the show and everything else, went back to my friend's place and we put on a Bill Burr comedy.
Nice. Yeah.
And so we were watching that last night too, and it was, yeah, he's awesome. He's so good.
He's performing here on Friday, and we're trying to get tickets. I think we're gonna be able to get them. They're gonna be pricey, $100 a piece or something like that. But he's one of my favorite comedians alive right now, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, man. You know what? I did look into getting tickets for Bill Burr. It got out of my price range pretty quick, because we looked, and I think the tickets were up for like 2 days already, and the cheapest that we could find were like $150.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I love him, but I don't know if I love him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah, it's so tough. You really want to go, but then you start doing this, and yeah, 150 is a lot of money. I did see some yesterday. I think they were about 100, but who knows? They might be gone now. They might be gone. So yeah, we'll have to see. I really want to check him out. He's one of my favorites, and it would be a heck of a night out. I think it's coming up Friday, so we'll see. Hopefully, I'll be able to give you good news that I made it on Friday. Another big moment over the weekend was the jersey retirement of Jaromir Jagr in Pittsburgh. Jagr is still playing professionally. This is his 37th year of professional hockey. He's playing about 16 minutes a night for a team in the Czech Republic, where he's from. and this is his 37th pro season. He played 11 years with Pittsburgh and is definitely most known for his Pittsburgh years, winning the scoring title on 4 occasions, amassing the second most points in NHL history behind Wayne Gretzky. And it was great. Tons of the players, tons of the fans were wearing his old hockey hair, wearing the mullet. A lot of he got to go out and skate around with the guys before. Had a really awesome ceremony for him. Took the microphone and thanked everyone. Yeah, it was really cool and great and long overdue. He hasn't played in the NHL for a few years, but as I said, still playing professionally, 37 seasons, which is by far a record.
It's amazing. I'm going to be honest. I didn't think he was still playing because, like, isn't he like in his mid 50s?
He's 52. He's 52 this year. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Like that's ridiculous. Yeah. That has to be a record.
Yeah.
Like for longevity and stuff. Like it's 37. Like so, when is he gonna stop? When he gets to 40? Like I was like, I played the game. I love 40 years or so.
I think he said as soon as his grandkids are ready to play, he's gonna play, and then he'll retire. Wait when his grandkids stake the ice with them.
Wow, man, like that. I think that's a testament to like just the fact that he's able to put his body through that, and he can still get it done. Like it's just like wow, like that's incredible durability.
Yeah,
that eclipses what LeBron's done by like 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, LeBron's 39, and you're like, we're just amazed every time we talk about LeBron. But like for him to still be suiting up and playing, it's just unreal. As I mentioned, second in NHL history, 1,921 points, 766 goals, 1,155 assists in 1,733 regular season games. Just the third player to have his number retired by Pittsburgh, joining Mario Lemieux and Michel Briere. Lemieux was his hero. He mentioned it during his speech. And then there was a funny moment when he looked over at his girlfriend and he said, yeah, she's so young, she doesn't remember even me playing in Pittsburgh, but I showed her lots of videos, and now she knows. But she looks so young. She's actually 29, but she looks like she's 20 years old. It's hilarious when you see her. He goes, yeah, she's so young. I know she never saw me play there, but I showed her lots of videos, so it was pretty hilarious.
That's funny because I'm sure some of his teammates are just like, look at Jagr, look at him go, look at that
guy. Yeah, his mother was there too. His father, unfortunately, I think just passed away last year, 2023. So he didn't get to see the ceremony, but his mother was there. She was very touched. You could see her wiping tears away a lot, and gave him quite a few hugs after he had spoken. And she was quite touched, and they raised the number up to the rafters, and it was an incredible ceremony. If you haven't seen it, anybody that's watching or listening, try to seek it out online. It's really worth it and incredible. He had just absolutely amazing NHL career. 24 NHL seasons, 11 of them in Pittsburgh. He was only the number 5 overall pick in 1990, but they won the cup early in his career. He won a couple cups, and then he won the Hart Trophy. He won the Art Ross actually 5 times. He was the NHL leading scorer 5 times, and absolutely incredible, massive career for Jagr. So good on Pittsburgh for giving him this tribute and honoring him with retiring his number. The last hockey note I wanted to give was the Women's Hockey League had a game over the weekend. Toronto hosted Montreal, and Montreal won 2-1 in the game. But what was most widely known about it was the highest attendance for a women's professional game in the history of hockey. They sold out the Scotiabank Arena, 19,235, I believe the number was. and it's great to see the massive support there. They sold out the arena in Montreal yesterday, and yeah, this professional hockey league is doing really great attendance. I'm super impressed with what they've done, and they really are attracting an incredible young crowd to the game. And it was great to see so many young girls, so many young boys at this game, really loving it, holding up signs, really supporting it. And yeah, it's just growing leaps and bounds for them.
That's fantastic that people are supporting it. That people are supporting the product, and the product is actually very good, and that people are coming out for it. Like, like that's what they need as a fledgling startup, like for this professional group and this hockey for the ladies. They need that support, and I'm glad to see that they're getting it.
Yeah, me too. Awesome. It's really great. And yeah, I hope they can keep building on that. It's a 16 league that they opened up with. They're talking about expansion already. Don't know if they're going to expand right away into next season or give it a year. But yeah, I think this has legs, and it's really good for professional females, as well as all the young girls that can see their idols and emulate them as they continue on their hockey careers too. So it's going to be great. Let's talk about the NBA. So they held the All-Star weekend, and all in all, good time was had in Indianapolis. Great to see that they move it around to basketball hotbeds like Indy. There was just a lot of former players there, a lot of history. It was great to see Larry Bird, Reggie Miller, a ton of the old stars from Indy there. And they had a fun weekend until yesterday. I think a lot of people left with a sour taste in their mouth because it was such a bad, defensively horrible game. The East ended up winning 211 to 186. First game to ever go over 200. And I don't think anybody was happy with the result of it. It just resembled just goofing off in a playground, in a gym, and it really has to be figured out. There's something has to be done to make this better. They had the end season tournament earlier this year, and somehow they were competitive. They wanted to win. They played defense. It was good, tight games. And maybe they have to put some financial incentives or something towards it, but they can't keep going on like this. Nobody was happy with this product. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, it's I've saw the highlights of it and stuff like that, and it's just I don't know, man. Like for me, I look at it and I go, it just seems like a waste of time.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be honest, it just seems like a complete and utter waste of time. It's like, why even bother putting it on? Yeah, you get to see some cool stuff sometimes, like Damian Lillard pull up from half court, which is actually always exceptional, to be honest with you. Like that is actually just amazing that he can do that.
Yeah.
Take set shots from half court and nail it. But at the same time, like you can tell that nobody cares. Don't care. There's no compete level, and they don't give a shit. Yeah. And especially when you have two of your major stars in Jokic and Doncic, who are just like, hey, I could be like somewhere else, right? If I was. Yeah. Like it's just like, oh, okay, well, you don't even want to be here. Like most of the guys, this is for you just to say, hey, you guys are the best of the best. We're just gonna give you your flowers. But at the same time, as they're getting the flowers, it's like, yeah, I'd rather just not be here. It's like, all right, cool. Let's not have you be here then. Because I'm thinking right now, I don't know if there's a way to fix the game, personally. And they've done other things besides not the game, but other things like to incite the crowd and get people into it and stuff. But the game itself, man, I'm just thinking maybe just get rid of it. Get rid of it.
Yeah, maybe they have to, or maybe, maybe if they do put a financial incentive, or what baseball did for years was whoever won the All-Star game got home field advantage in the World Series. And so you could give home court advantage to that final. that might be incentive, but there's only two teams that are going to make that final, so it might not really matter to your team if you're not going to be in it. But yeah, they got to do something. I watched it, and we were out at a restaurant having some food and some drinks. They didn't have the sound on, but I watched it and I just thought, oh man, this is unbelievable. Like it started, just being such a joke. And I thought, why has it become so bad? Like there was, it's never been great, but it at least had some competitive elements to it. But this one was just, let's just, throw the ball up and have goofy times. And, those half court shots by Lillard were super impressive. And, no wonder he got the MVP. It was, well deserving, but so much of the rest of the game was just such a waste of time, and just too bad that it's, it's just denigrated to something that's, just not really a good example for basketball at all.
No, it doesn't represent basketball really at all, right? Like I would say the game is now for the children.
Yeah.
But also too, as a parent, I would be telling my kids, don't ever play the game like that.
This is not the way the game's supposed to. Yeah. It's not the way the game's supposed to be played at all. So yeah. You mentioned Lillard. Lillard is the first guy to win on Saturday night one of the events, as well as win the MVP since Michael Jordan won the slam dunk and the MVP back in the day. So kind of cool. This is definitely Lillard's weekend, winning the 3-point contest, defending his title and winning it. He's kind of struggled in Milwaukee since he's joined them. He's only averaging about 24.5 points, about 6 assists, about 7 rebounds. Really not the kind of numbers that he put up in Portland in his entire career. And he's having a hard time. Doc Rivers has not looked good behind the bench so far in Milwaukee since taking over from Adrian Griffin. Doc was the coach of the East team, but didn't really deserve it because I think he's been 3-8 or 3-7 since he took over behind the Bucks bench. And I was saying yesterday that Doc Rivers, if he does not win that title with Boston when they got the big three there, he might go down as one of the worst coaches in the history of the league. The guy has just been horrible in so many places with tons of talent around him. He's imploded so many times in the playoffs, has really choked in so many spots. And I'm amazed that a guy could just go this far with a career over that one championship when, it was the kind of the first time that big three came together and were able to, dominate the league. And I'm not a fan of Doc. I don't understand how he keeps getting all these great chances over that one ring.
Yeah, because everybody's just like, well, no, he created magic. It's like, no, those 3 guys created the magic. Yeah. He just happened to be the coach. Yeah. Like he lucked into it. That's what I've always thought. He kind of lucked into that position. And at the same time, now that he's with Giannis and the boys, it's just like team's already made. Like you kind of just have to just do subtle things to make it work. And now you're just like, you can't even do that. You're like, what's wrong with you? Like what? These guys are awesome. Like all you got to do is just kind of like, like a couple tweaks here and there. Massage it a little bit. Like Adrian Griffin did it. Yeah. But apparently not good enough. That's why he lost the job. But like now it's like, okay, well, you're supposed to be Doc Rivers, and you're supposed to be way better than the other dude. So do it. Show us. And he has not done any of that.
No.
Yet.
Yeah, no, it's stunning to me that he keeps getting these chances, keeps getting tons of amazing talent to mentor, to coach, and to try to take places. And the Bucks didn't go and make that Lillard trade for not they're winning a title. They were supposed to win a title this year and at least go as far as he could possibly think of. And I think he's messing them up. I'm not impressed with what he's brought so far. And Lillard showed that, he's got range Steph Curry range. He's got range everywhere. He should be able to, be bringing that to the league game after game, and should be, one of the most unguardable players in NBA history. You got Giannis, also one of the most unguardable guys, and really good complementary pieces around them. This team, is really underperforming, and I think they made a big mistake getting rid of Griffin for Doc.
Right now, it doesn't look good, but like he still has time. There's still the second half of the season. Yeah. Hopefully, Doc will make the necessary changes. But it's a wait and see thing now, because it's like the team is good, clearly. Yeah. So now you got to show that you can coach well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we're gonna find.
We're gonna find out. Yeah. A couple of the other things I wanted to mention about the All-Star game. Karl Anthony Towns led every player with 50 points. Had a fantastic performance. Tyrese Halliburton, he got 5 3-pointers in 92 seconds yesterday, and was really gunning for the MVP in front of his hometown crowd. That has worked out well for both teams, making that trade. I remember when that trade was made, you said, wow, Tyrese is a guy that's, the Pacers be able to build this team around, and that was an amazing acquisition by them. And you see Sacramento, what they've done. They were able to make the playoffs for the first time in many, many years. And, there's not that many trades where you see it really works out well for both teams.
Yeah, like it was beneficial for both teams. Yeah. Like the Sacramento Kings got a piece that they needed, and the Pacers got a piece that they needed. Because what Sacramento knew is that, unfortunately, with their two high-end guards of Halliburton and De'Aaron Fox, they couldn't exist together with how they played the game, or how they moved the ball and everything else. They just couldn't exist together. So with that being said, one of them had to go, and they got the most amount for moving Halliburton to Indiana and getting a piece back in Sabonis. And it worked out well for both teams.
Yeah, no, it's been really impressive and great, and good to see them both flourishing. LeBron James got a lot of attention this game, this weekend. He's a bit banged up, has a bit of an ankle injury, so he didn't play a ton. He only contributed 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists in 14 minutes. But they showed a lot of the records that he holds for the All-Star game. This was his 20th game. Nobody had more than 18, which was Kareem. He scored his 432nd point. Kobe is second with 290. He has 182 field goals in the All-Star game. Kobe is second at 119. And very impressive to see. He's 39, and he's still, even on a gimpy ankle, some of the dunks that he had during the game looked very impressive, and nice to see the old man still, has it, even being a bit banged up.
No, the old man still got it. He still got it. You can still dunk, still fly. You can still do all these things where you're just like, it doesn't make no damn sense. But yeah, Father Time doesn't have anything on LeBron. They've got nothing on that guy. And the fact that he's now been in an All-Star game for 20 years straight, 20 seasons straight, is just a testament to his longevity, his awesomeness, and just the fact that nobody else can really do that except him. Just him.
Did you see the story that came out of Golden State? The Warriors really put a push on to try to get LeBron at the trade deadline. They reached out to the Lakers, asked for him. I guess Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss said, we're not saying no. How about you contact his agent, get his agent to find out if he wants to leave. We won't stop him if he wants to leave LA. Ask him. I guess Rich Paul was contacted by Dunleavy, and LeBron was asked. He said, no, I want to stay in LA. And so the deal was not put together. I guess Draymond Green also reached out and tried to ask him. They're good buddies. And I was amazed because I'm not impressed with the Warriors right now, and I think that they have to make some major moves while Steph's still there and while this team has the ability to compete for a title. Great to see Dunleavy trying to pull this move off, and man, that sure would have been incredible if he did.
It would have been incredible. It would have been. But I think at this point in time in LeBron's career, I think he's satisfied with his accomplishments, so to speak. And also, too, he's looking forward to the future after his NBA career is done. Yeah. He's got a number of businesses that are situated in LA now, and there's no point in him leaving. Yeah. It just isn't. It just doesn't make any business sense for him at this point.
Yeah. My dad said that too. Yeah. Why would you go to San Francisco when you're in LA and you got all these endorsements and you got all this business? And yeah. LeBron is 132 points away from hitting the 40,000 point mark. So that will be done pretty soon this second half. He's number 1 in points, 4th in the world in assists, 5th in triple doubles, 8th in 3-point field goals, and 9th in steals in the history of the NBA. And it's amazing what he's doing. We'll see. He's been in LA already 6 seasons, so it's incredible. Anthony Davis actually has been very healthy this year, has not missed games, and maybe LA can go on one last run. But you're right. I think he's becoming satisfied with what he's done. The longevity is just so incredible and mind-blowing. I know he still has the 4 championships, and I know that he wanted to get 6, 7, more than Jordan, but at this point I think he's pretty damn satisfied.
Yeah, and he should be, because having all the hype that he had way back in the day when he was first coming into the league, and for the mere fact that he exceeded every expectation that was put upon him, is absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, he has nothing more to prove, does it?
Nothing. Yeah. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the All-Star Saturday night as well. I do want to just quickly mention, though, that we just mentioned the highest scoring NBA player of all time, LeBron James. I want to mention Caitlin Clark from Iowa became the all-time leading women's scorer in college basketball history. The other day, on Thursday, I believe it was, she broke the record, and she is within reach of actually becoming the all-time college scorer in the history of college basketball, men or women. And it's amazing what she's doing. She's another Steph Curry. She was hitting from the logo. That night she scored 49 and had a shot from the logo to get the record. And it's pretty cool that these Steph Curry females are coming into the league. I want to mention Sabrina Ionescu in a sec, but it's incredible what the Steph Curry effect is having even in the female game.
No, it's just awesome to see. It's awesome because of the fact that shooting is it's based on your mechanics, right?
Yeah.
So anybody can shoot proper if they work on their game, right, and if they're dedicated. And what the ladies are showing is like, no, we can be actually pretty deadly knockdown shooters as well, as we saw with Ionescu taking on the greatest shooter that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And she did real well.
Great.
Fantastic.
Well. Yeah, well, she got 26 points in that 3-point shootout, which would have tied all the rest of the guys that were in that, other than Lillard is the only one that got more than them. So, incredible. Great to see Caitlin do this. She is within striking distance of Pistol Pete Maravich's record, which is just mind-blowing. Pistol Pete averaged 44.2 points per game on his incredible run, and the guy was so mind-blowingly amazing back then. But great to see Caitlin, and we'll see if she she's still eligible to play one more year if she wants to continue or join the WNBA. It's kind of difficult to imagine her not turning pro, but if she stays in college, she's got the ability to make about close to $1 million in college.
Yeah.
Yeah,
NIL money.
so that's that's different from the NBA and college guys coming, in the men's game, but in the women's game, it's a lot closer in money wise, and so maybe the money won't take her away, and she'll have one more year in college and just push the records to like Tom Brady levels, where almost impossible for somebody to reach them.
And it might work this way, but she actually might make more money if she were to stay for one more year through the NIL stuff.
Yeah.
Like she might actually make more, which is just absolutely incredible. Great time for her and great time for any college athlete. Because now it's like, no, you're not taken advantage of anymore. You can make real money. And I think that's awesome that she actually has the choice of, well, I could go pro or I could stay and still make a ton of money.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's great. That's really good. There's been a lot of criticism about the NIL, but in cases like this, I think it's working and it's doing what it was supposed to do, and helping these athletes stay in school, and that's kind of one of the things that you're hoping for, not these one and done guys, and it's just, I think this only helps college sports, and it'd be great to see you do one more year and just blow people's records out of the water, and might be 20, 25 years. Pistol Pete's back from like the 80s, right? So yeah, how long has it been since anybody even came close to that? It's incredible. So yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of the All-Star Saturday night. The 3-point shootout was great. We mentioned Damian Lillard winning it. The dunk contest wasn't fantastic, but Mac McClung ended up defending his dunk contest title, getting it. I love that he jumped over Shaq, and he had a couple of pretty spectacular dunks. Not as great as some of the other years we've seen the dunk contest, but pretty fun. What do you think of All-Star Saturday Night and the highlights that you would have seen? What do you think?
I thought, for the most part, it was pretty good. I like the fact that Mac McClung came out and did his dunks, and that he won again. I kind of thought that he was going to win again because he's clearly very good at doing that. He's a very good dunker and all that sort of stuff. I was hoping that Damian Lillard would defend his title as one of the best 3-point shooters in the game. He did. What I would really like to see is Damian Lillard and Steph Curry go at it at least once.
Yeah.
I would love to see that happen at some point in time. I don't know when that could happen, but I'd love to see that. I love the fact that the Indiana Pacers guys, like the trio, won the skills competition since they were in Indiana, and they were integral to that. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was really good on their part. And the other thing that I really loved was the LED basketball court.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That worked. That was extremely innovative, extremely creative. Going forward, that thing needs to stay. Yeah. That worked. Loved it.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they will try it during games. I wonder if they'll make some inroads to see. Maybe they'll put in some preseason games, maybe some G League games. Maybe they'll attempt it. It was. I don't know what it felt like for the players on the court. I don't know what the difference is with a hardwood to a glass LED floor like that, but that was neat. That was very cool that they had that. They can project a lot of images onto the hardwood, but with the LED floor, it just added some extra elements, which was really neat, I thought too. I did really enjoy the Steph against Sabrina 3-point shootout. I thought that was innovative, fun, and cool. And I just kind of wish that maybe Sabrina got to go second. And maybe that would have been a little bit better. Maybe she would have had a little more of an opportunity to win that. I didn't realize that the women's game had a few things that I hope they change. I hope they make the court dimensions the exact same as the men. I hope they put the minutes the same. I hope they expand it to 48 minutes, so we can see a lot more triple doubles and a lot more similar statistics as the men get in their games. And I don't actually really like that they have a smaller ball as well. I heard somebody say, I think it was LeRae actually said, because women have a lot smaller hands, just, that's genetically. And so, maybe that's the case why they have to. But I think they should have, similar, almost everything should be exactly the same as the NBA so that, you can see similar numbers. A triple double is super rare in the women's game because they just don't have the amount of minutes to get those kind of numbers. And triple doubles is something that is talked about almost, daily, almost every week for sure in the NBA. And it's such a rare thing in the women's game that if they increase the minutes, I think you'd see a lot more, and you would see comparable numbers. And I think people don't automatically just see the women's numbers and be impressed by them because they don't really actually realize that they're playing a lot less minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes you forget that the women's game is a shorter game.
Yeah.
And now that you mention it, I don't even know why. Like why? I don't see a real reason of why they can't play just as long as the men do. And they should. Because then everything is more like it's just easier. It's an easier comparison, right?
Yeah.
Without having the fact that it's like, no, well, they don't play as long as we do, so that's why their numbers don't measure up and everything else. And also too, like triple double, that's just a normal thing now, because if you got guys like Jokic who just kind of get it every other night, because it's just like, that's how good I am.
Yeah. Well, Caitlin Clark in that game that she got the 49, she also had 13 assists in that game. Like those are mind-blowing, incredible numbers, and she's doing it in a very short game. Like they're playing not a lot of minutes in those women's games. So, I think whoever's running the show there just has to, just increase the dimensions of the court, increase the minutes, and I think it would really help a lot of people embrace the women's game that much more, and that's what we all want. There was a head coaching firing today. Jacques Vaughn was let go from the Brooklyn Nets. They had a 21-33 record this season under him. They're 11th in the East. They were only 71-68 under his helm. 0-8 in the playoffs. He took over for Steve Nash only 7 games into the season a couple of seasons ago, and has not been able to do a lot, especially losing all their top end talent. And his final game was a 50-point loss to Boston a few nights ago, and that was the final nail into his coffin. Kevin Ollie, his assistant coach, will become an interim head coach and take over for the rest of the year. This was that 50-point loss was the second worst in NBA history for a guy's last game ever. Doug Moe lost by 56 back in 1993 while coaching Philly. But tough game to be your last game, and a change, I guess, had to be done there.
Yeah, a change had to be done, but let's be honest, the team is not very good.
No.
Not very good.
Like, what's a guy going to do with that roster?
Exactly. Right? Like, if I'm Jacques Vaughn and say, well, I don't know, I did the best I could with this roster.
Yeah.
All right. It's like, there's nothing more that he could do. So somebody had to walk the plank. Coach walks the plank. Cool. Awesome. Good luck for the next guy.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. So we started the unofficial second half. Celtics got a 6-game lead on the Cavs in the Eastern Conference, 8.5 on the Bucks, who are in third. The Knicks are in 4th, Sixers are in 5th, Pacers and Heat are 6th and 7th, 12.5, 13 games back. Magic are also 13 games back in 8th. And then the two teams that are in the play-in position right now have the Chicago Bulls in 9th and the Atlanta Hawks in 10th. Trae Young, I don't know what was happening with Trae Young yesterday. He barely played and was the lowest scorer on the court. I don't know what happened with him. Is he banged up, or I don't know why he didn't play much.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. He might be banged up. So that's why they were just like they limited his minutes by quite a bit. That's the only thing I could figure, because or else he should have played more.
Yeah.
Should have.
Yeah.
It's not like he's ever really going at it hard. You know what I
mean? No, exactly. Yeah. In the West, surprisingly, Minnesota's still on top. 39-16 record. Really good at home. 19-5 on the year, and 7-3 in their last 10. 27-8 in their conference, and yeah, got a 1.5 game lead on the Thunder, a 2-game lead on the Clippers, and 3 on the defending champion Nuggets. There's going to be some flip-flops there, likely. Do you think the T-Wolves can keep this up and finish first in the conference this season?
I don't know if they'll finish first in the conference, but I'll say they'll definitely finish in the top 3. They'll definitely finish in the top 3. They're good enough to do that. I'm just more shocked that they're even number 1 in the West.
Yeah,
I never saw this.
Yeah, mind blowing. I really didn't either. Yeah, they've won 4 in a row and looking fantastic. Suns are 5th, Pelicans are 6th, 7th and 8th are the Mavs and the Kings, and then the two teams in the play-in tournament again are the Lakers and the Warriors, trying to sneak in. Every team in those top 10 is on a winning streak, except for the Nuggets, who have lost 3 in a row heading into the All-Star break. So, yeah, definitely it looks like those are the top 10 teams. The rest of the teams are falling quite far back, but I expect those to be jockeying for some positions. I think we'll see a few things done to try to bolster some of these teams. I'm very impressed with the Clippers. Both you and I weren't happy that they're doing so well after getting Harden and doing all this, but yeah, the West is very tight. For the top 8 teams, only a 7.5 game gap between number 1 and number 8. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and also too, we kind of knew this going in, that the West would be the tougher side, the tougher conference out of the two, because like there's just so many good players on the West, so many good teams in the West.
Yeah.
Like you knew that it would be a dogfight between all of these guys on the Western Conference. And then on the Eastern Conference side of things, I do want to mention I'm super impressed with all the moves the Knicks have made. Super impressed. Like the Knicks they have set themselves up to be a force in the East. That's a team personally I would not want to meet in any playoff scenario.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to see.
They've had some health issues though, unfortunately. Some of their acquisitions have been hurt, but I expect once they get them back, they're going to be very formidable, and one of those teams that is going to give a lot of teams trouble.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're going to give a lot of teams trouble. And like you said, once the guys are coming back from injuries and stuff, they're going to be very hard to manage. Very hard.
Yeah. Before the UFC, I just want to mention the PGA Tour. Over the weekend, they had the Genesis Invitational held at the Riviera Golf Course down in LA. Hideki Matsuyama ended up shooting a 62 yesterday. He was 6 shots behind when the day started, behind Luke List, and ended up shooting a incredibly blistering 62, one off the course record. Was able to get a 3-shot victory, and that was his 9th victory on the PGA. Canadians did really well. Adam Hadwin local boy. He shot a 6 under yesterday, 65, finished in a tie for 4th place at 13 under. We had lots of Canadians in the tournament. Adam Svensson from Abbotsford here. Hadwin's from Abbotsford as well. Finished in 10th. Corey Connors, 24th. Mackenzie Hughes, 31st. And Nick Taylor, our Canadian Open winner, finished 39th. So great to see a lot of Canadians doing really well and right up there. It was nice to see Hadwin and Svensson, who were both playing together. The Abbotsford boys got to finish both top 10.
Yeah, which is awesome to see. Awesome to see, because Abbotsford, that's my town, and to see these guys doing so well, that's just fantastic. And also, too, seeing that Hadwin's not getting taken out by security like he did like that last time. Yeah. He didn't get Terry Tate, office linebacker, and just hit, So that's cool. Good for him.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. Yeah, he Hadwin cashed a check for over $1 million. First prize was $4 million for Hideki. Pretty impressive. The purse was over $20 million for the total. Tiger Woods had to withdraw. He said he ended up getting sick and had to pull out. He was probably going to not make the cut. He had a pretty decent first round. I think he left after 7 holes. The second day, I think it was 7 holes, and he was already shooting about 3 or 4 over and looking pretty bad shape. He has missed 3 out of his last. He has withdrawn from 3 out of his last 5 tournaments. Missed 1 cut and finished in the 45th and 47th place. So yeah, at 48 years old, Father Time has really caught up to Tiger Woods, and it doesn't seem like we're going to see him hoisting another trophy, getting up there again. It looks like he's finished his PGA Tour career. He might play on the Champions Tour, possibly when he turns 50. We'll see, but I think yeah, we're not going to see Tiger up there very much anymore.
No, I don't think so. And you know what? It makes sense. He's had some catastrophic injuries that he's had to recover from. One of those car crashes he's been involved in almost killed him. So you're not going to be the same player after having those kind of injuries to get over. And plus, at his advanced age, it's like, well, it makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense. It's like, you've given us so much, and it looks like the body can't give too much more anymore.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, definitely that car accident was one of the biggest reasons why yeah, he's struggled to make it back and playing very well. The Genesis Invitation was also known for Jordan Spieth getting disqualified after he signed an incorrect scorecard following his second round. He was in the top 20 and he signed for a 3 when he actually should have had a 4. When they checked out his card, they realized, oh, you made that mistake. You're gone. See you later. Kicked him out of the tournament. Can you believe that there is a sport still where you got to keep your own score? I don't I don't think any other sport is asking the athlete to keep his own score. And I think the PGA should do away with this. They've got tons of people that can keep, the score. Imagine LeBron James has to go over to the scorer's table and check. No, I had 24 actually, not 25. Like any other sport would be just ridiculous. Why does golf still have that as something that the players have to keep track of?
Because it's the traditional the tradition. It's the tradition, and that's why they still have they hang on to these things. But you know what? It's the 21st century. Like, get rid of that. Yeah. Like, have somebody else, keep score for them so that this nonsense doesn't have to happen. Where it's like, oh, well, I got booted because, well, I got something wrong on my card. It's like, no, man, that doesn't need to happen anymore.
No,
it just doesn't.
No, I think it's just totally dumb, so ridiculous. The golf has a lot of these traditions, and there was there was a moment where Hideki was playing and he came up to his ball and it was in the rough and it was pretty deep grass. And his ball was sitting there and he put the club down and the ball kind of moved a little bit with the grass. And all of a sudden, all these people called from their coach and said, "Hey, his ball moved. You got to penalize him." And, and they were like, "Okay, well, look." And so a couple minutes later, they showed all of us the replay and said, "Okay, let's look. Does it move?" And it moved, but it didn't actually move like fully out of a position. It didn't move from where it was. It just slightly moved a little bit and then kind of went back down as soon as he took the club away. And then it moved when he put the club back down. And I'm like, this is another thing that's just unbelievable that I could be sitting on my coach and I could be, having a bet against him, trying to support one of the other guys. Hey, he screwed up. You better penalize him. And then they do, and I win a whole bunch of money because I called from my coach and got that. Do you think any other sport's gonna allow something crazy like that? No. So some of these old traditions, it's just sick and stupid, and it's got to stop. Like I cannot believe that this is still a possibility in a major professional sport.
Maybe they should allow it though for some of the sports, like for football. Maybe it's just like, hey man, that's offensive holding. I gotta text some of the refs. It's like, did you miss that? Did you miss that? I caught it. I caught it.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Oh my God. Like it's ridiculous. Like imagine just trying to go to any other professional sport and try to say, okay, we're going to allow anybody at home watching on TV to call and be the ref for a play. We're going to allow, we're going to make all the athletes keep track of their scores, like no other sport. It just would be ridiculous to even suggest that with any other sport. And golf just still allows crazy stuff like this.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous, like you just said, like the fact that I could call in and like, I think that ball shifted, like, so you guys are gonna have to look into this for me. Thank you. Thank you. And it's like for me, like, who just phoned in? Oh, hey, we got that watchdog, that Mr. Jason Cameron. Oh, did he phone in again? Oh, okay. You know what? He's usually pretty good. So let's take a look. Let's take a look and see what he had to say.
Yeah, it's crazy. Maybe you pissed off your neighbor because you were hitting balls too late one night. Maybe you're having a party too late. And then he's watching the next day, just trying to find one little thing you screw up and get you kicked out of the tournament. Yeah, that serves you right for keeping me up last night. You have enemies. Everybody has enemies, especially a professional athlete's going to have some people that don't like him. Maybe didn't sign the autograph when they were standing on the side of the course. So I'm going to be every single tournament. I'm going to make this guy pay. I'm going to see him screw up and I'm going to call in and make sure he pays for snubbing me one day. Like, it's just unreal. It just makes me laugh and think golf's like stuck back in the ancient times and we can't, we got to join the 21st century and say like, what the heck's going on here? This is things that, we can't do anymore. We just can't, this is not the way that golf should be still acting.
No, it isn't the way that golf should be still acting. And now that you have the LIV pushing the PGA, now things are beginning to change because of what they're putting forth, right? So at least with them being there now, that's a good thing because now it seems that the game itself is being advanced in certain ways, which is beneficial for everybody across the board.
Yeah. I did want to mention Canadian Stephen Ames won the Champions Tour. He ended up shooting an amazing 8-under round on Saturday. Ended up at 13 under. Was able to beat Rocco Mediate by 3 strokes. Ernie Els by 4. This was rain shortened. They had a storm roll in and could not play on Sunday. So he was able to cash the winner's check. He won 4 times on tour last year, and great to see him off to another great start mid-February, getting another victory and another Canadian flag on the top of the leaderboard in the golf. It's pretty great to see.
It's fantastic to see. Again, just the fact that we have such incredible Canadian talent that's coming through time and time again. It's just it's cool. It's very, very cool.
MLS is opening this week. We've got all teams will play 37 games this season. The first game comes this Wednesday. Lionel Messi and Inter Miami play Real Salt Lake in Utah. That will be the opening match of the entire season. The rest of the teams start on Saturday. We'll have games. Miami is the odds-on favorite to win it all this season, with LAFC as the second overall, after Miami finished near the bottom of the league. But the Messi effect is really made the bookmakers think that Miami's going to take it all this year. It'll be great to see. He's coming to a town near you. Hopefully you can get tickets and go see him. I think they've priced themselves out of a lot of people's budget, but great to see the MLS season will be back, and we'll be watching Messi and talking about him a lot this year.
Oh, we'll be talking about him a lot. We'll be talking about him a lot in the respect of, is he playing or is he not playing?
Right.
There's going to be a ton of that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. The first game for Seattle is this Saturday. They host LAFC. That's 1:30 Pacific kickoff. Our Canadian teams, Montreal hosts Orlando, also Saturday. Toronto hosts Cincinnati on Sunday, first game. The Whitecaps first game is Miami also. Oh no, sorry. The Whitecaps first game is Charlotte the following Saturday, and Miami will be playing their third game that same day in Orlando City. So Battle of Florida, and it's going to be fun to watch the Whitecaps. And the Lionel Messi effect this year is just going to increase the attendance all over the board. A full season in MLS, and hopefully he's as dominant. Get to see him score a ton and really get a lot of media attention for this whole season.
Yeah, it's always good when he's good. You know, it's going to be good for the league, be good for Inter Miami. It's going to be good for everybody. So I just hope that he's able to stay fairly healthy and he's able to show up and give the fans what they want, which is to see him.
Yeah. On this week, the Kansas City Chiefs held their Super Bowl winning parade, and unfortunately it was marred by a shooting incident. One woman was killed, 23 injured. Unbelievable that you just can't go and even have fun celebrating a massive victory like this and have to deal with a shooting. It's an epidemic. It's just maddening. It's unbelievable, and it's such a tragedy that they can't. Everyone just can't get along and have a great time over this victory.
Yeah, sucks. It sucks. Like it's like they accomplished something incredible, and then when you accomplish something like that, you shouldn't have like a loss of life. And that's exactly what happened. It puts a very dark stamp on what should have just been an awesome day. Yeah. So hopefully they've found the culprits. He'll be brought to justice, and hopefully, next time this doesn't happen.
Yeah,
you can only hope.
Travis Kelce has received a lot of criticism over celebrating too much. I just think, like, this is something that you should be able to celebrate, not have to feel like, anybody's going to criticize you for celebrating such a massive accomplishment, winning back-to-back Super Bowls being one of the biggest reasons why the team won. And he's receiving, so much criticism over some of the pictures that we're seeing with him just having fun, enjoying the victory.
Well, you know what? You know why he's getting this? Because he's with Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why he's getting all this scrutiny and all this sort of all other nonsense. Because he should, like you said, he should be celebrating. Yeah. He just went back to back. First time that's happened in 19 years. He should be having fun. He should be enjoying himself to the utmost. Because not only did he go back to back, not only was he instrumental in that win, he also got Taylor Swift as well. Now, the other thing is that's unfortunate with him is the fact that, I don't know if you know this, but one of Taylor Swift's cats, I just learned this, made $90 million last year.
Yeah.
And Travis Kelce being one of the greatest tight ends to ever played, I think in total has only made $50 million.
In his career, yeah.
In his career, all right? So he has it rough already because he's in direct competition with just one of her cats, and the cat is like, you don't measure up. You just don't. Yeah. You only make half as much as I do. I'm the breadwinner here.
Yeah. I heard that, and I was just like, could that be true? Could that actually be true? Like, how the hell? Like, even when you get that much social media attention, can you still make 90 million as a cat? Like, is that actually possible?
Yeah, and apparently it is. So you know what? I don't begrudge Travis Kelce for having a good time because he also knows it's like I gotta live it up. Because, the next day I'm going into that house. The cat's going to look at me. It's like, you have a good time? I still make more money than you.
Yeah, the cat's just looking at it like, you peasant. Who the hell are you?
It's like you're a peasant. You're so
unbelievable. This stalking. I know. I heard that on the radio the other day. I was like, oh my God, that can't be true. That can't be true. That is insane. Insane. I was happy that Taylor Swift did contribute $100,000 to the victims' families, as well as the Chiefs and the NFL both contributed $100,000 each themselves for another $200,000 donation to the victims' family and the tragedy there. I decided to look up how many mass shootings there have been. In January, there was 37 in the U.S. There's been 17 already in the first 19 days of February in the U.S. There was 627 last year in the U.S. And a mass shooting is the definition of 4 or more victims that have been shot or killed. And even today, they during the Canucks game, they had a little moment of silence. There was a mass shooting there yesterday. 2 police officers and a paramedic were killed, and then the shooter turned the gun on himself and shot himself. And it's just crazy. Like, every time I hear of these, I just think we got to do something different here. We got to stop this madness and just to be worried about getting shot everywhere you go. We're just hearing about them, during just regular everyday stuff and celebrations like this. Like, it doesn't matter. Almost everywhere you go, you could be a victim of gun violence. That's no way to live. That's no way to live.
No, it is no way to live. And I feel sorry for our American counterparts because that's what they have to live with every day, every minute, every second, because it's what their gun laws allow in most of their states. Yeah. So and for that very mere reason, that's why I'm super glad to be living on this side of the border in Canada, where we don't have to worry about it as much as they do all the time over there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary, man. It's unbelievable. And I am happy that we, for the most part, are very quite safe here, very safe here. We don't hear about shootings very often. It's a rare occurrence, and I feel blessed to live in a place that, just make sure that we don't have to have that worry and have that daily thought in your mind. Last thing I want to mention before the UFC, the Blue Jays did sign a player. He played with the New York Mets last year. His name is Daniel Vogelbach. 6 foot tall, 268 pounds. You should see this guy. You mentioned about Alejandro Kirk last year when you went to the Jays Mariners game, and you were like, that guy's on the team. That guy. Well, this guy is just as round and a mound of round, and he signed a minor league deal in hopes of making the roster for the Jays. I wanted to put some pictures up of him just to see your reaction. I don't have them in front of me, but you got to find this guy. This is another guy that just blows me away. He can actually hammer the living heck out of the ball, but can't run, and isn't really an athlete. But the Jays are trying to give him a chance to make their roster. Hopefully, he can lose a bit of weight and run a little bit. But 6 foot tall, 268 pounds, and not much of it is looking like muscle.
So he's not like Kirk, who's built like a fire hydrant.
No,
he's more round mound, rebound, Charles Barkley.
Yeah,
when he was not in shape.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. You know what? I'm going to look forward to seeing a picture of this dude. Now I definitely want to see a picture of this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to check him out. I showed some people last few days after he signed, and they were like, "This guy? Holy cow, he's a bit round, isn't he?" Got some bulges coming out of his jersey in a few spots there. Oh man, it's crazy. I don't know what the scouting team's thinking about that, but we'll see if he's able to make the team. That'll be hilarious. Okay, we had a great UFC card. I'm glad we finally get to talk about it. UFC 298 from Anaheim, California. We had a really super stacked card, and we have a new featherweight champion of the world. Alexander the Great Volkanovski, the guy that has the longest defense of a title right now in the UFC. You think, even though he's 35 and everybody said too old, not going to be able to win anymore, you think he's got a really good advantage over a younger guy coming in who hasn't been in as many battles and wars. And he actually wins the first round, and then Ilia Topuria ends up throwing a few combinations, pushing Volkanovski back, and landing an absolutely perfect right hook that landed on the button and shut Alexander Volkanovski out and put the belt around his waist. We have a new featherweight champion. Kind of shocked, kind of amazed. And what did you think when that punch landed and there's finally a new champion in the featherweight division?
First off, I'm going to be honest. I thought Topuria was going to win.
Did you?
Wow. Secondly, wow. I thought Topuria was going to win because Volkanovski did not give himself enough time to properly recover from his loss to Makhachev.
I see.
I honestly thought that. I'm like, you know what? That knockout wasn't great. I think Volks has been pushing himself in a weird way, and I don't know why he feels the need to really push the way he has been pushing. And also too, I have this odd feeling. Okay, so he's lost to Topuria, that he would want an immediate rematch, which he should not take, because that's okay. Like that's what happens sometimes with these guys, where you get knocked out once, kind of bad. This second one, that was bad because he was out for a while.
Very out.
And he was out because of the fact that he did not see that hook coming. He didn't see the punch. And so he should actually take like 8 months off right now.
Yeah.
But that's not his mindset. That's not what he wants to do. So he'll probably try to push for an immediate rematch in the next couple of months. And I think that's a bad look for him because I don't think he can beat Topuria now. And I think him taking more time off would be more beneficial for him. But he's probably not going to do that. And I don't know if the UFC wants to give him an immediate rematch because of the way he lost. So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, the concussion. I mean, the knockouts do give you a concussion, and they can compound on themselves. That loss he had, I think, was in October. So to me, it seemed like it might have been enough time. I don't know. Well, nobody will ever know if he still would have been knocked out that heavily with that shot. It was one of the most perfectly landed, and we've got something called a button right on our chin there. If that head snaps, all of us go down. That's it, but we have seen that accumulation effect of concussion too close to another one, really compounding on each other and being a lot more brutal. I think of Chuck Liddell as his career wound down. He was easily getting knocked out, and he just seemed like he had a granite chin in his early part of his career. But and we have seen accumulation of guys getting knocked out, and then it seems like they keep getting knocked out. So you could be right. I didn't think it was too soon, but an immediate rematch might be too soon after two bad knockout losses. A guy's got your number. Maybe he steps back. Topuria fights the next competitors that in there, and then he fights the winner. That probably is a better plan. But as you say, this is a fighter. This is a guy that just wants to prove himself all the time. Is a warrior, and so we'll see what the UFC decides to do. He deserves a rematch right away, but is it in his best interest?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Exactly. He does. He absolutely deserves a rematch right away. But if I was his team, I would say, let Topuria fight somebody else. You'll fight the winner of that. By that time, then we feel more comfortable after getting knocked out like that you're actually recovering. Right.
Yeah. It's super tough, and it's one thing where I don't really love when these fighters do jump from division to division, because if you're holding the belt, you have to defend it in a timely fashion, or they tear it away from you, or they make an interim belt, and if you win or lose, you're going to take some damage going up in weight no matter what. We haven't seen too many fighters go up in weight and have success. He was a late replacement in that fight against Makhachev the second time and suffered a crushing KO. I guess it would have been nice to see him 100% fully healthy, where we wouldn't have had to even question it if he there had been a year between a knockout, something like that. But I guess it's very hard to know if he still felt the effects of that first KO for this one.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to know, but I know that more time would have been more beneficial, I think, personally, because I can't see how time away would have hurt him.
Yeah.
I don't see that. So
yeah, true. So in an ideal world, who does Topuria fight next? Who would you like to see him competing against?
Great question. Maybe the winner of this next UFC fight night between Yair Rodriguez and Brian Ortega.
Right.
Maybe whoever wins that is the next guy that Topuria should fight. But at the same time, I'm going to be honest, I don't see anybody beating Topuria.
Yeah.
I don't see it, man. That guy is that good. And he took out the guy that beat up everybody else. Right? So I don't see it. Yeah. I don't see who could actually beat Topuria right now.
Going into this weekend, Jair was number 2 ranked. Yep. Ortega was number 4. We've got Volk now going down. He'll be number 1 contender, I would think, on the rankings list. So Jair would have to drop 1 spot down, and Ortega, I guess, would still stay around 4. We got Max Holloway was number 1 coming into this one, and so Max Holloway would jump down to number 2. I guess Jair would be 3, and I guess Ortega would probably stay 4 because Topuria was 3rd ranked. So yeah, so it kind of changes that. I could see the winner of Rodriguez Ortega getting that shot against Topuria, but is it something that a lot of people would even think is, a realistic shot that either one of those guys would have? Maybe they go down even to Movsar Evloev, who's number 5, and he's 18-0 as well. Undefeated, 2 undefeated fighters facing off against each other. Might be the way the UFC goes. Do you see that?
Yeah, and I do see that. Like, that would make a lot of sense as well, because then you pair the undefeated guys in the featherweight division to go up against each other, and you can market that, right? Because then it's just like, this fight has never happened before. These guys are undefeated. Let's see who can keep their undefeated streak going, right? And that would make a lot of sense, because we've already seen Jair and we've already seen Brian Ortega, and we've unfortunately seen them getting smashed by Volkanovski. So yeah, maybe something new would be better for the UFC.
Yeah. Volkanovski had 5 title defenses, had really cleaned out that featherweight division. I think the UFC was really happy that Topuria was able to rise up the ranks this fast and really give him a run for his money. And it just shakes it up. I cannot believe how many belts have changed hands in the past couple of years here. We're not seeing any more dominant champions. I think the most title defenses out of any champion currently is 2 out of any champion in every single weight class. It's crazy. This has been just an insane last couple of years in the UFC. Just amazing.
Yeah, actually, we're entering a time of parity between all the fighters, all the good fighters and such. So much so that, like, the champions aren't heads and tails above everybody else right now. They're better than most, but they're not dominant champions that we're used to seeing. I think Topuria has a chance to be one of those dominant guys, but he now has to do it. Right? So, but everybody else, man, like, everything's up for the taking. For as far as I'm concerned, for any other division, everything's up for the taking.
I'm going to try to share something. Let me see if it's going to come up for me. I think it is. Let me show you quickly. Let's see. Here it comes.
All right.
First of all, I want to show, this is Ilia Topuria's family watching the fight.
Okay.
Yes, round knocker. Yes, round knocker, Bijo. Hello, baby, Saka Polosi. Shelly Gabris, Babu.
That was fun.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. Those
Yeah.
those two older guys were just like greatest day, amazing. I don't know if they were his fathers, grandfathers. I don't know. But I saw the young kid had the El Matador shirt on, and yeah, great to see his family celebrating so much. I do want to also show you one other video here. This is what took place in Georgia with both Merab Devashvili and Ilya Topuria, both Georgian fighters winning. They had set up screens in certain spots around the city. They had watch parties. This was 7 a.m. on Sunday morning in Georgia. Pretty incredible. Let's check that out too. There it is.
Biz jockeying.
Pretty incredible. They were able to celebrate two amazing victories by their Georgian fighters. And that was 7 a.m., very cold, rainy day in Georgia. But yeah, people came out and both their countrymen were able to raise their hand in victory. Incredible moment for them.
Absolutely incredible. And also too, great for the UFC that they got two guys like anytime they actually have a champion that has a country behind them, that's just great for the UFC.
Yeah.
It's great marketing, great publicity. It just grows their sport even more. So awesome to see.
Topuria's family left Georgia. Georgia had a war with Russia a few years ago, and his family fled to stop the possibility of them getting killed. And he emigrated to Spain. Spain has become his new homeland, and he is really pushing for the UFC to have an event there. They were talking about having an event there within the next 12 to 18 months. I think they're pushing that up. If they can get a venue this year, Topuria will defend his belt in Spain against one of the worthy contenders that we talked about. That'll be incredible, and another country that UFC can get into and start changing lives.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like as we've seen, whenever they go into another country, like they're welcomed with open arms. Yeah. And also too, again, it's just another chance to grow the sport in another country, gain more fans, gain more notoriety.
Yeah. I want to talk about Merab in a few minutes, but why don't we break down the co-main event? This was a middleweight battle between Robert the Reaper Whitaker and Paulo the Eraser Costa, two guys that have fought for the belt before in the middleweight division, and both incredible fighters, amazing power, both at the top of their game. We had, some very, 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 a very, very great battle against two of these top guys. And other than a spinning wheel kick that came close to knocking Whitaker out, he dominates this fight, in my opinion, wins the rest of the 14 minutes, 55 seconds. But this was a very impressive performance by Whitaker. He kept to a game plan and was able to grind out a fantastic win over a super tough guy.
Tactical fight. Like they had a game plan. They stuck with it. Opened up with some heavy leg kicks that somewhat impaired Costa's movement.
Yeah.
Costa, though, that head kick that he has with his lead leg, super dangerous.
Yeah.
Like Whitaker had to be sure to have his defense up at all times because that kick was coming in seconds, half a second. Yeah. It was amazing how quick his kicks were. He almost got taken out by the spinning heel kick, but managed to regain his composure and come out. And that's a testament to just how in shape Whitaker was, because he could have been come out woozy for the next round, but he was not. He was ready to go. Yeah. And he wouldn't fall into any Costa's traps, which was, I think if you remember, I believe it was the third round where he's like, come on, face me in the middle. And Whitaker's like, no, I'm going to fight smart. I'm not doing that with you. Yeah. Because if he were to fight like that, he puts himself at risk of getting knocked out. Because that guy still has the power to do that. So
yeah, he totally does. Yeah. Whitaker's last loss was against Dricus du Plessis. Do you see him getting an opportunity to avenge that loss and fight the champ?
I can't see why not. Like I think that's a good fight, unless they somehow managed to get Adesanya to fight Dricus. I think that's the one that makes sense. That's the next fight that makes sense for Dricus du Plessis.
Yeah. Adesanya said he wants to take a lot of time off. I'm hoping that he sticks to it. You said Volkanovski should take time off. I think Adesanya is on a bit of the same kind of trajectory where he has lost, 3 out of his last 4 fights. And Volkanovski, I think both of them, they need some time off, and it would be smart if they both took the time off.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I think there comes a time where you just have to be smart about it. Like, I think it was Wonder Boy Thompson who suffered a bad knockout loss. He took a year off, came back and won his next 2 or 3 fights. So I think there's benefits to taking time. Like, if your body's saying, I don't think I can do this right away again, then listen to your body. Be like, all right, taking some time away.
Yeah. Okay, let's blast through the rest of this card. Jeff Neal, Ian Machado, Gary. I like this matchup. I thought this could be a really good fight. Gary, his nickname is the Future, and he's unfortunately possibly the future. Hopefully he learns to shut his mouth and not be such an idiot with the things that he says to hype up fights. But very impressive performance from him. Ends up being a split decision victory for Gary. It was 30-27 on 2 of the judges' scorecards, 29-28 on the other scorecard for Neal. But I thought Gary was able to utilize his movement, get the shots off, utilize that reach, the advantage that he has, especially with his kicks, and was able to get the win.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I thought he was pretty much in control of the distance of that fight. Yeah. His distance management was absolutely superb. It was excellent. I liked how he utilized the knees, the step-in knees and such. But yeah, just keeping the fight where he wanted it to be for the majority of the fight. That's what won Gary the fight, in my opinion. Yeah. Neal was game, but just I thought he still had a very hard time navigating, trying to get within his striking distance, and Gary was able to keep him at his, and that was the difference in the fight.
That's true. Yeah. He called out Colby Covington, which I think would be a great fight, and hopefully they make that work. It'd be nice to see Colby get retired, and that's what he asked for, to retire Colby. It'd be nice if Gary could somehow be retired too, but I doubt it. And so, yeah, I think that will probably be something that they do and put him up against next. Okay, I mentioned Merab. This performance against Henry Triple C Cejudo was another one of those master classes. Merab is phenomenal. No wonder he's called the Machine. Able to pick up Henry Cejudo, march him down to the corner, throw him down in front of Zuckerberg, and play with him as he was trying to choke him out. Merab is just so unbelievable, and I think he's going to be wrapping a belt around him at some point in the future too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Cejudo is as good as it gets for wrestling, and he got dominated.
Yeah,
like he literally got picked up in the octagon, marched across the octagon, and slammed down like that. Nobody else is doing it to that guy. Nobody else is doing that to that guy. And that was the most impressive thing to me, the fact that he just dominated him and that he put on that pace and that pressure that I'm sure Cejudo was ready for, but really wasn't ready for, because you know what? Like, it's a different thing when you actually have to face it. And now I don't know, maybe you do, but I don't know. Cejudo said, if I can't beat Merab, then I shouldn't be here anymore.
Yeah.
Did he retire?
The funny thing was, I think he was taking his gloves off and he was ready to retire. They didn't give him the mic.
Right.
And that surprised me. I thought that he was going to end it right there. He had been saying it all week. That 3 years off really changed the entire trajectory of his career. I don't think he should have retired back then. If he was going to be retired, he shouldn't have came back. He's just not the same guy we saw that retired 3 years before and came back and lost to Aljo and now has lost to Merab. I think he's done. Yeah, he didn't officially make that announcement then. Hasn't over the last 2 days, but I think he's done.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, and it kind of sucks because of how he quit, or I should say, not quit, retired. How he retired, because he was at the top of the game.
Yeah.
But after 3 years, guys rise to the top too. And so, yeah, everybody caught up. And so he's still very good.
Yeah.
But so is everybody else.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're seeing, right? And the fact of what Davishvili did to him, though, yeah, man, because you're just going to get more of that now. Yeah. You're just going to get more guys like that. I don't know if he should continue on anymore, because he's already accomplished so much in the sport, double champ, this and that, like, all the accolades you could ever want. I don't know if there's anything more for him to.
No, probably not. No. Merab said he broke his arm. I didn't hear over the last 2 days if it was 100%, but he said he broke his arm in the first round, which is even more mind-blowing. He wants to fight Sean O'Malley, take over the belt. Sean has Chito Vera fight coming up March 9th. Sean was in the crowd and said, yeah, sure, next, but you're not next. Chito's the guy. Chito beat Sean, so there is a good chance that Chito wins. Chito's a super slow fighter, early stages, doesn't do well. Usually comes back and wins most of them, but we'll see how the Sean O'Malley fight comes together March 9th, and then what happens. If it's a broken arm, there's definitely going to be a long recovery for Merab, but man, I think Merab gets a title shot next against one of these two guys.
That's a no-brainer. He's getting the next title shot. Whoever wins between O'Malley and Vera, and hopefully Vera doesn't start late in that fight,
Yeah.
you know, he picks up the pace quite a bit. I'm sure his coach is like, you can't start late, man. You need every round.
Yeah.
You can't just give away rounds, man. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
So hopefully that happens. But whoever wins that fight, that's who Merab's fighting.
Yeah.
No,
That's how it should be. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The fight that kicked off the main card was Anthony Fluffy Hernandez against Roman Kopylov. Fluffy came in 15th ranked, 11-2 record. Kopylov 12-2 record, just ranked a little bit below him. Both on 4-fight win streaks, and I really liked the matchup. I thought everything was really good with this matchup. I was very impressed with Fluffy, his takedown, his ability to continue to attack the rear naked choke, finally sink it in, get the tap, get the win. Got $50K for it, and I thought he really deserved it.
You know what Hernandez actually reminds me of? He reminds me of Merab. Yeah. Unbelievable motor, and he'll wear you down with it. And that's what he did to Kopylov. And the Kopylov is a great fighter, great stand-up. He's actually strong everywhere, but he got tired. The man tired him out.
Yeah.
And the fact that Hernandez is just relentless with the takedowns, he doesn't get flustered by the fact that he can't take you down. In fact, he probably gets more excited. It's like, oh, it's a challenge. This is great. And then he'll just keep attacking you. And you're like, oh, I can't get him off me. I was impressed. I was impressed with Hernandez. His relentlessness, his will, and the fact that he was able to finally just tire the man out and take him out.
Kopylov had stuffed 30 takedowns. He had stuffed 20 going in, and the first 10 takedown attempts by Hernandez. Hernandez finally lands that 11th one and was able to just really wear him down, like you say, and tire him out. And then, he was defending the rear naked choke quite well early on, but he just kept, like a dog on a bone, just kept going after it, finally sunk it in. And wow, great to be able to keep his rank over a super tough fighter. I loved it. And good analogy. Very, very, very talented on the ground and when he gets the fight there. This women's fight that was the featured prelim fight, Amanda Lemos against Mackenzie Dern, both Brazilian fighters. Actually one of my favorite women's fights I've seen in a long, long time. I've really started to sour on a lot of the women's fights and haven't enjoyed very many of them. This was one that was great throughout. Both fighters, super tough. Very impressed with Mackenzie. Even though she got the decision loss, I thought she looked really great, and it showed how tough she is, even though her eye was just completely obliterated. They thought she had a broken orbital bone. It turns out she doesn't. This got fight of the night. Both girls got $50K, and really brought the battle to this one very impressively.
Dern is tough as shit. Like, she thought, Jesus Christ. Like, that round 2 where Lemos should have taken her out, and I give the ref all the credit in the world, because he could have stopped that fight at any point in time. I would have been okay with it. I was like, okay, she's getting her ass handed to her. Didn't stop the fight, and Dern was able to turn it around somehow and get it into her world. Like, it was a tale of two different stories. Like, stand-up Lemos had Dern's number. But when Dern was able to finally get her to the ground, then Lemos was in Dern's world every single time. And I was amazed by both women. Both women's will to win, both the fact that they're both just so freaking tough. Dern's just her technical aptitude on the ground, able to reverse situations that were not beneficial to her and stuff. I was impressed, man.
Yeah.
Great fight. Lemos, great win on her part, because it took everything for her to win that fight, because Dern just wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
Wouldn't go away.
No kidding. Yeah. Yeah, you got to give her tons of credit. Both ranked top 10, Lemos number 3, Dern number 7. Wow. Both of them really got to hold their head high. Very, very super tough. And you're right. Lemos dominated on the ground. Dern's phenomenal. Lemos dominated on the feet. Dern is phenomenal on the ground, and it was just great to see both battles happen. And Lemos ended up pulling out the win. Yeah, it was one of my favorite, as I said, female fights in a long time. So good on them. Junior Toffa stepped in for his brother Justin Toffa on like a day's notice and had to fight Marcos Rogerio de Lima. De Lima beat up that front leg so severely, so quickly. Toffa was just in severe trouble even after the first couple landed. There's no way he could take it, and finally he chopped that leg down. He dropped onto his back, and the referee Frank Trigg had to come in and stop this fight. He was just gonna get he was gonna get beat really bad, and wow, those leg kicks were lethal.
Lethal, absolutely lethal. You know what? If I was Junior, I'd be like, I would have some choice words for my brother, some choice words, because it's like, I took that beating for you. I did this. Yeah. You owe me money. You owe me money, because that was not pleasant. Like, once he hit him with that first leg kick, I'm like, oh man, that's not cool. No. That's not cool. And he knew it, and he just getting hit with it. I think even if Toffa was checking those kicks, he'd still get hurt like that. Like, the Lima is a big man. Those are thick, meaty thighs, thick, meaty calves, and they did a lot of damage.
Oh, he's huge. And there's another guy, 15th ranked, as I mentioned earlier, kept his ranking, and really was able to dispatch him quickly. It was only they didn't really count it as a leg kick stoppage, but they should have. It would have been the 16th leg kick stoppage in UFC history. Gusto Sakai is one of his cornermen, and a guy that throws really lethal kicks himself. And those guys just chopping down trees in Brazil. Incredible. Okay, what'd you think of Nakamura? His UFC debut, pretty damn impressive. The hybrid gets the victory there. Broke his right hand, he said early on, was still able to stay undefeated, and got a really nice win. I like this guy, and I think the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah, he's very good. His wrestling is just second to none. And the fact that he was willing to go down with the ground specialist in Vera, who kept attacking his legs, and he just was not worried. Yeah. He was not worried about anything that Vera was throwing at him. And the fact that, the leg locks or the ankle locks that he was threatening, he had control of the fight the entirety of the whole time. Yeah. And convincing, dominant win by Nakamura in that respect.
Another 50K was handed out to Zhang Mingyang from China. He gets the incredible knockout win, 141 into this one. The Mountain Tiger beat the Gorilla, really impressive. Finished every one of his 17 wins in the first round, and a great UFC debut, 50K for that victory. Wow. This is a guy that looks incredible and young, only 25 years old, already 17 wins. And I was blown away by how good he looks already.
Yeah, he looks fantastic. Looked really, really good. Dropped Ribeiro with that left hook and just a quick ground and pound finish. It was impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Mike Beltran came in and stopped it after those hammer fists. Incredible left hook, bam, and then hammer fist. He called out Alex Pereira. I might as well shoot for the moon. I think right away they were like, oh, that's a little, maybe a little bite more than you could bite off to chew yet. But anyway, he said how impressive he was actually having some of the guys in the crowd, and a pretty good personality from this Chinese fighter. Pretty fun to see. Another incredible UFC debut was by Danny Barlow. Really nice knockout. Was able to get Josh Quinlan in trouble, and a huge knockout win. Great performance by the newcomer Danny Barlow. Came from the Dana White Contender Series.
Yeah, I saw kind of the highlights of this one. It was a great knockout win by him. Yeah, just a great win, period.
He also said he broke his arm in the first round, so he was just mostly using his left. Still gets the KO. At least 3 fighters say they broke their arm or their hand. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. The fight between Oban Elliott and Val Woodburn, the animal from Jamaica. Wow, I love this guy. He is super tough, but Oban ends up getting the victory there.
Yeah, these last 2, I actually did not get a chance to see.
Okay.
But yeah, I love that dude's nickname though. Fantastic nickname.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, the Miranda Maverick fight with Andrea Lee, good fight, and impressive performance by Miranda. Good victory. Let's just quickly talk about next week's card. This is taking place in Mexico. There are 10 Mexicans on the card, 6 on the main card. All fights on the main card have a Mexican involved, 4 on the prelims. There's 4 Americans, 4 Brazilians, and a few others. This is a rematch between Brandon Moreno and Brandon Royval. Should be a hell of a fight. It's all smaller weight fighters on this card. There are 3 lightweight battles, and then there's 5 flyweights, 2 bantamweights, 2 featherweights, and a strawweight fight. So all the smaller fighters should be ton of action. A lot of incredible fights. I'm looking forward to it, and it's great to see them back in Mexico. First time since 2019, I think it is.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to this because there's got to be no shortage of action in these fights. These guys will not tire out. They're going to show amazing technique, and it's just going to be fantastic to see. It's going to be awesome. I'm super looking forward to it, especially with the Moreno Royval fight between those 2 guys, because they'll be fighting each other on every level, whether it be wrestling, grappling, jiu-jitsu, stand-up, all of that. And you'll see the same thing with Yair Rodriguez and Martin Ortega. And I'm looking forward to seeing Rodriguez's craftiness, his inventiveness, and his creativity. I'm looking forward to seeing all of that.
As I mentioned, this is a rematch. Moreno and Royval fought in 2020, November 2020. Moreno knocked him out at the end of the first round. I think it was 4:59 of that first round. And then Moreno fought Figueiredo 4 times, Kai Kara-France, and then he lost the belt to Alexander Pantoja, and that's also who Royval has lost to. He lost the title fight to Pantoja, UFC 296 in December. Lost the decision there. Royval is actually coming in as a replacement for Amir Albazi. So hopefully he's got enough time, a full camp. We'll see if it's a different result. It's about 3.5 years since they fought with each other. Moreno's 21-7, Royval's 15-7 coming in. Obviously, Moreno's got the hometown crowd behind him, and should be a heck of a battle. These 2 guys are incredible. You mentioned the co-main event, Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega. We talked about that a bit earlier. They are both 2 of the absolute top in that featherweight division, and I think they both know that whoever wins probably has a title shot coming next in their future. So I expect nothing but fireworks from both of them.
Yeah, I expect that. I expect their best because they know what's on the line.
Yeah. It's going to be cool to see that many Mexicans. The crowd's going to be phenomenal. Totally getting into it. Glad we're out of the freaking Apex. We got Anaheim this past weekend. We get Mexico this weekend. Man, it's always so much better when it's live in front of a crowd and they got the hometown fighters to cheer for.
Yeah, no, it's always better because now you have the fans' energy infused into the arena, which is always a better atmosphere. Always a better atmosphere.
And they made the announcement this weekend. Dana White said the UFC 300 main event has been called. It will be Alex Pereira against Jamal Hill. Should be an amazing main event. Both these guys are incredible, and I expect one epic fight that we're going to remember for years to come.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great fight. I don't think it will go the distance.
No.
I think somebody's been knocked out.
Unfortunately, Leon Rocky Edwards was supposed to be the main event. He had 3 opponents fall off in the past few months. He had agreed to fight 3 different fighters, and they all were unable to continue. So hopefully we see Rocky soon. But good on him to just take all comers. Nobody was able to step up and give him that UFC 300 top slot.
That's funny because he's just like, well, I'm good. I guess nobody else is good. So great. I guess I get some time off.
Yeah. The last thing I want to mention is they made the announcement that Vanderlei Silva was nominated to the UFC Hall of Fame in the Pioneer Wing. The Axe Murderer will be inducted into International Fight Week this week. One of my favorite fighters of all time. I just can't not believe how incredible he was back in his Pride days and some of the fights that he brought to the table once he joined the UFC. This is one of the greatest mixed martial arts fighters of all time, and I think it's long overdue. Glad that he's getting that recognition. It was cool to see him there. They showed some of the highlights and honored him. It was my favorite moment of the whole weekend, and great to see him get his due.
Yeah, I know, it was awesome. And when it was happening, I was just like, I thought he was already in. To be honest with you, I'm like, oh, well, he's in now, and he's given us so much pleasure in watching his destructiveness as he's gone through his career, and the fact that he's absolutely like his moniker, the Axe Murderer. Yeah, like when he does the face off, and you're just like, I'm gonna probably die here. It's not gonna be great. Yeah, like you're just like, it's iconic. It's awesome. And if you're not intimidated or not worried about your life, there's something wrong with you. Something wrong with you. Yeah. So, fantastic, man, fantastic. And I loved watching him in Pride. And for like a 6-year span in Pride, he was pretty much unbeatable. Yeah, like unbeatable. Yeah. Can't beat that guy. So,
yeah. I remember watching fights with some people before, and a girl came into the room and started seeing the highlights of him, and she's like, why would anybody ever agree to fight that guy? Why? Why would you? Like, he just kills people, and it just showed lethal knockout after lethal knockout, and it was true. We were just like, yeah, I don't know who would agree. The guy is just incredible, and he just that stretch that he had, I think he had almost 20 KOs in a row. It was just insane. Yeah, just insane.
Absolutely insane. You know what? It's nice to see that he finally made it to the Hall of Fame, which I kind of already assumed he already was in. Yeah. Then again, because it's like, this is Vanderlei Silva. Yeah, he should be there. Yeah. So fantastic that they've honored him and stuff. And well deserved. Well deserved.
Okay, man. Well, that was the whole coverage of the entire weekend of sports. Great long weekend, lots to cover and talk about. I'm glad you were able to get out, see some comedy, eat a lot of great food. I haven't been to Memphis Blues in a while. I have to make a trip there. Usually you got to go with a few people so you can get that feast platter. And, you really feel like you get your money's worth when you get the platter. Hopefully I can get to Bill Burr. Hopefully you can take in a bit more comedy before it's done and have a good week ahead. It's nice that it's a short week. It'll be easier to handle for us.
Yeah. Definitely a short week is always easier to handle. And if you go to Memphis Blues, why don't you do me a favor? Just get the feast anyways. Give your girl a little bit, not much. Just like, here's a little plate, and the rest of it is mine. And if I can't eat it all, I'm taking it home, and you can't have it. Just make it.
All right. I'll take that under advice. Okay. I'll
All
report
right, man.
back to you next week and see how that goes.
Oh, I'm sure it will go great for you. Absolutely great.
I love it. Okay, man. Cheers. Have a good
All
night.
right, man.
Talk soon,
Yeah,
man.
right.
Cheers.
All right. You too. Cheers, man.
Okay.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. Okay. Wow. Oh, we're pushing like about 2.5 hours. So it's time to end it. Thanks so much for sticking in. As always, love you guys' support as always. And thanks so much for your comments, your likes, your views. Love it. Thank you to our partners and sponsors. Want to thank Verbero. Want to thank Anchor, Pampas and Possibilities, and Forever Living. We'll always appreciate your support as always, and we will keep talking soon. Have a great week ahead. Hope you had a fantastic long weekend. Thanks so much for sharing your time with us, and we will talk soon. Take care. Love you.